Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's On at DisneyPlus.com. It's Thursday, it's time for a quick Disney Plus news roundup where I'm going to be talking about Will Trent. I'm also going to be sharing my first thoughts on Star Wars Visions. Plus, I've got a little bit of a rant I want to get off my chest. But before we get into any of that, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Okay, so let's start off with some positive things. So up first, let's talk about Star Wars Visions, which is going to be coming to Disney Plus on the 4th of May, Star Wars Day. We're going to be getting 9 new shorts. I have got a chance to see them all. I'm just going to give you a very quick reaction to this one. Really enjoyed this series. This one they are just really good. They're very different. The art styles are all over the place. Some are like stop motion. You've kind of got like a Wallace and Gromit vibe because it's made by the same team. You've got some like sort of anime in there. You've got like an Indian one. Lots of choice, lots of different variety. You might not like all of them, so if you don't like one, just jump to the next one because they're all very different. This one kind of feels a little bit more like each one is its own separate kind of take on something that's going out on in the Star Wars universe. It feels a bit more connected in the fact that they could be happening on a different planet or whatever. Whereas I think with the first volume, it felt like almost like a parallel universe. This kind of feels part of it. They just look differently in how they do it. Really looking forward to seeing everyone watching these ones. There are some really good ones, some more traditional ones, some a little bit more fun. But yeah, I really enjoyed these. So make sure you check these out when they drop on May the 4th. Also, just a quick note as well, Will Trent has been picked up for a second season. You can obviously watch it right now on Hulu in the United States. And this show is released as a Star original on Disney Plus around the world, including here in the UK and in Australia. So that one's pretty good. It's actually, my wife did watch the first episode and said it was really good. And I turned around and said, well, I thought we were going to watch it together. So I need to catch up. It's on my to-do list. Now I know it's getting a second season. Oh yeah, cool. I'm going to check it out. So this is on my to-do list to watch over the weekend. But if you're watching Will Trent, let me know in the comments below. Okay, let's now talk about what's new on Disney Plus today, with it being Thursday. Nothing in the US. The main new release was Quasi, a brand new film from Searchlight Pictures and Broken Lizard, who are behind Super Troopers. So this one again is on Hulu in the US. Haven't seen the film yet. I'm going to be watching it over the weekend, see how it is. With timing of today, didn't really work in terms of what I'm doing, because you'll find out a little bit later on. But yeah, so that's the kind of the big new release. Kind of nice sometimes to have these things on a different day. So that's dropping obviously right now. Right, let's do a little bit of a rant. I'm not doing a question today because this one's something I just wanted to kind of get off my chest, because earlier this week, Disney Plus released the list for what's coming to Disney Plus in May, in the United States, the UK, and in Canada, etc. Now, for the UK list and for Canada's list, I don't really have a lot of complaints, because the star content, the stuff that you would have on Hulu in the US really kind of fills it out, when you're getting in there films that you got like brand new films like White Men Can't Jump. You're getting shows like Family Guy, Grey's Anatomy, things like that. You've got Will Trent, you've got a whole host of different stuff. Fine, no problems at all there. And yeah, cool. But the US list this month is probably one of the worst I think we have seen in a long time. Now, there are some good content coming in May. So let's get that out of the way. We've got an Ed Sheeran documentary, which I love Ed Sheeran, so I'm really looking forward to watching that one. Muppets Mayhem, nice new series. American Born Chinese, can't wait to watch that one. That one looks really cool. And as I said, Star Wars Visions is another big release. So there are some good stuff coming, and I definitely feel without having Mandalorian or Secret Invasion, it's a little bit weaker that month, but there is some great content. But that's pretty much just it. There is a few random shows from National Geographic and a few random shows from the Disney Channel, and that's it. And I can't believe we are here in 2023, and it feels like we have just taken a step back 3 to 4 years to when Disney Plus first launched. Actually, it's probably worse than when Disney Plus launched, because I don't know if if they separated those shows out weekly, it might not feel as bad, but generally the library content is not very good. I mean, there is just nothing they're really putting on there to celebrate the Disney 100. Where's that content? Because it's not just the US. If the US doesn't get it, the rest of the world doesn't get it. There are films and stuff in the libraries and the vote that we're not getting. Are they holding it back for later? Is it because the Disney 100 doesn't start until later this year, but maybe that's it? it really just feel like there is just no classic content being put on here. You know, stuff, you know, it's just basically just whatever's left from the Disney Channel and the National Geographic Channel. And even that, especially with Nat Geo, some of the like the more mature stuff heads over to Hulu instead. Now, I know there is probably so many people going, but it's Hulu. And I totally get the idea. The problem is right now is Hulu. This is a big block that's stopping Disney from kind of moving forward in the US. There's obviously like negotiations going on. There's things happening. Hopefully it doesn't happen but like the 24 hours of me filming this one. But in general, yeah, it just feels like Hulu is in this situation now. And the only way I could sell it is if it's essentially as if they were selling that, you know, if they're trying to sell it. This is like when you're trying to sell your house, where you're trying to keep the paint up to date. You're trying not to scuff everything. You're trying not to have notice that the door's a little bit wobbly. You're trying to put a bit of WD-40 on it. You're just trying to keep the thing moving along as it is. So they're not making any big moves. They're not making any big changes. Everything is just staying the same because they don't want to mess up whatever's happening with Hulu. And yeah, but it really just feels like, you know, here we are 3+ years later, and Disney Plus does not seem to have moved forward. The slowdown of all the big new originals has also really impacted on Disney Plus. It's just like not getting the kind of, you know, if we were getting Marvel or a Star Wars show every week, you'd probably be a bit more inclined to go, that's good. But even that was a problem, was because that kind of caused other issues for those brands. I don't know, like whether or not with something like, you know, crossover, had they been having that weekly, we would have still been having a few weeks. I mean, A Small Light, you know, that is a good thing that is coming in the month of May, you know, with 2 episodes dropping. That's a really interesting series to be checking out. But yeah, I don't think that show's going to pull in a big enough audience. It just feels, you know, if someone says to me right now of like, well, I'm going to unsubscribe to Secret Invasion comes along, it's like, I can see why. They are not putting enough stuff on there. You know, the 20th Century Studios library is barely being touched. You know, you kind of feel like, well, what was the point of buying it? You know, I know some stuff goes off the HBO and all the rest of it, but in general, a little bit of a rant for me really today, because I just feel like that list, I read it and I was like, that's just not very good. Like for me, obviously being in the UK, there's a lot of other shows and stuff that I want to watch that's coming to Disney Plus in the UK. You know, got Abbott Elementary, got all kinds of different things. But I'm looking at that US list and thinking, if that was me in the US right now, it'd be, I'd watch that Ed Sheeran thing and American Born Chinese and A Small Light. That's literally 3 shows, 3 things. And that's not a lot of stuff, I think, to get kind of people in. And I do think Disney is going to have to bucket its ideas up. I know we're going to see a slowdown with, you know, if there's a writer's strike and, you know, the costs and all the rest of it. But Disney really need to be, I think, leaning in a little bit more on providing, you know, something a little bit more than they are right now. It just feels that, yeah, it was lacking. But I'd love to know your thoughts. And, you know, like I say, we can keep putting the Hulu as the problem and keep saying, obviously, we've got to wait for it to sort out and we're going to. But like, I do feel like after what feels like 3+ years of using that excuse, we are getting to the point of going, look, we are running out of steam a little bit. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you not? Do you think Disney Plus in the US really needs to bucket its ideas up and start adding something else? Library content, stuff from, you know, they seem to have stopped the 30 for 30 stuff from ESPN because that's been splintered off. The Lifetime stuff, they dropped stuff and then they haven't really carried on with that. They added all the parental controls and really haven't done much with that either. Yeah, it's just annoying, but I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to go check us out over at whatson at disneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.